Unified welcomes you to the following presentation of the Midwest Esports Conference. Here at the MEC, we partner with schools all over the Midwest to create premier gaming experiences.
The most common angles that the operator plays. This is like second to only B-Long. Fight is likely having a leg shot, but they're too slow! Hariri lands a perfect headshot.
Laying in the damage, zoning them on out. Going into A4, look at Sake. Laying in the middle,
Sake?
laying in the damage. Going in, revenge for their honey.
No way!
Way taller. Sake Wabe gets the quadra kill.
That was
So it kind of sounds fun, so I'll give it a chance. And then we ended up playing in high school the next 2 years together. We've been playing ever since. So he kind of taught me the game. We've been playing on a team since then, and then now we're in college, so we can't play together anymore.
We do love all the players, even the ones we shit talk. We love you all. We love you all.
Body Pluto looking for the plank. Trickster waiting, maybe looking for the steal. Pluto has his engage. The scatter of the week comes through. Watch Levi though. Levi hasn't been touched just yet, but the damage is coming through. The melt line gets melted. Jinkwall on a killing spree, and all of Ottawa goes down.
Why? Those don't go in. It goes off the sidebar.
Starting to come out, the flash is popped. The Rolling Thunder is utilized to perfection. And now it's all on Thiessen, but Thiessen just keeps on going.
Welcome to the MEC. Enjoy the show.
Midwest Esports Conference taking center stage for you tonight, and it's Rocket League, the game in question. Kendo Slice alongside my longtime friend, the one and only Cap Natsoga. Cap, how are you feeling tonight?
Well, I am feeling absolutely wonderful. Why? Because it's the first time in a long time I get to cast some Carball. Oh, I have missed the wonderful game that we all love so much because, you know, I've been busy around casting a plethora of esports, but we all know Rocket League, Carball, that is my home. That's where we come from, Kendo. That's where it all began, and it's not even the fact that we're back doing Carball, but we're doing it at the Midwest Esports Conference. That is huge. For the first time, we got Rocket League, and I honestly cannot wait to see what these schools that we all know and love, that they all have great esports programs, and now we get to see what they're made of in the pitch in Rocket League.
I know one of my first ever unified events was a huge deal, and it led me to where I am today with this MEC broadcast. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the standings, what happened yesterday. 3 games were on the docket, as there are 3 games tonight. Ashland University 0-3 versus Ohio Northern, so they will take that 1-0. Cleveland State, kind of a surprising 0-3, in my opinion, to Miami of Ohio. So Miami of Ohio starts things off 1-0, and Illinois College, a 3-1 over Cornell College in the battle of the colleges here on the MEC broadcasts. It's going to be another 3 games for us today, and they are equally exciting, in my opinion. You go down the line, you see the opportunity for growth and development throughout a league play schedule.
You know, you're right. It is very exciting. But the reason I'm shaking my head is because, granted, it's only the first week. It's only the first week that has been done. We're going and you know, we're looking at the standings and we're seeing how things are going to shape up. But once again, it just looks like ONU is ONUing. You know, they dominate like every esport. You can't win everything, but clearly ONU might be able to do so. But regardless, you got Miami, Ohio, who are also getting their first wins on the board as well. So again, you know, there is going to be some competition, and it's only week 1, baby. We still got so much more to go, but at the same time, it's good seeing familiar faces that we know and love still doing their thing in Rocket League, no less. But at the same time, you know, I'm no stranger to seeing ONU at the top. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Ohio Northern, a very stout squad, especially when I think of some of the efforts that they've been able to put in on the League of Legends side. So brilliant stuff. We're going to look to see how they are
League of
able to perform.
Legends, Valorant, Smash.
Yeah, that's everything. You can go down the line. What I'm looking forward to, though, is this first matchup, and that is going to be Illinois College versus Cleveland State University. Both played yesterday. Illinois College coming out with the win. And Cleveland State, again, I said it was a little bit surprising because Cipricate, Carson, and Goose, just on paper, as I was looking at them, they look like an extremely solid roster. It's not so much the result, because one of those teams had to lose between a Miami and a Cleveland State, but the 0-3 was what was surprising. It's going to be the Vikings looking for redemption.
Oh, 100%. But you see, that's the thing when you're talking about, your first games of the season. They're going to be a little bit shaky, especially, with Cleveland State coming to the MEC for Rocket League. You got to keep in mind a lot of these teams, this is their first time running collegiate Rocket League. CSU, or rather Cleveland State, we've got to see them run in Smash. We got to see them run in Valorant. We are familiar with this team, but we haven't gotten to see what their Rocket League team is capable of. So they came out in the first week and, they might have fallen short, but I'm telling you, as the season warms up, prepare to see Cleveland State start to answer back, because I got to tell you, they were pretty impressive in the other two leagues as well, at least the ones that I was a part of. And I got to tell you, this team, they might go through the ringer, but this esports program at CSU, they are resilient, if nothing else.
I've been looking forward to seeing Illinois College in action as well. I believe it's Viper, Run, and GG Runner on the pitch for them. And of course, I imagine everybody will be correcting me as I am learning new names. I gotta love the opportunity. One of the funnest things about being a commentator is you get that commentators right. Feel out and try to make sure you're enunciating names correctly. So do correct us throughout the day if we end up being wrong, but we're getting our introduction to both of these teams in day number 2, week number 1 of MEC action.
Oh, yeah, you know what? And we are definitely well and underway already. You could see that it looks as though Illinois College are kind of on the back foot there, but the defense continues to hold strong. And you know what, Kendall? I got to share your sentiment about trying to pronounce names. For us casters, pronouncing a name correctly on the first try is like hitting a musty flip reset. That's the equivalent.
And apparently I already have a correction coming in. It's not Run, it's Rune.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say Rune.
I feel like I got that one wrong right off the bat, so you'll have to forgive me on that one. But we'll look to get it right the rest of the way. And so far, Cleveland State have come out swinging, taking possession in the offensive zone, hamming the pressure, and a bump on the front end is going to see first goal.
Yeah, no surprise there. It was just too much pressure. I mean, you're looking at CSU, and they've been constantly on the attack since I feel like the kickoff, and they have just been nonstop, and their rotation at the midfield was so good. They weren't even attacking from the corners, which is where a lot of the goals end up going in from. They were coming straight down the middle, right up Main Street, and eventually the defense from Illinois College just couldn't hold on anymore.
Cleveland State headed right back to where they started. Ball control and gonna try to bring it out of their own zone. Like the shout coming in from Illinois College. GG Runner getting another 50. He's gonna be dropping dangerously in the box, but it's handled well by Cipricate. They still haven't been able to clear the zone through Viper. Really good stuff by Illinois College as they look to collect themselves, but finally we get that clear.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think it came too little too soon for Illinois College, just because they really need to start applying that pressure of their own. Again, they have spent a little bit too much time in their defensive side, and now approaching halftime, they need to start spending more time in Cleveland State territory. As you can see now, they're once again on the back foot, having to recover save after save, and now they're having difficulty breaking out of their own half.
Oh, up early, but great backboard defense we see from Rune. They're still struggling to get this through the midfield, but I'm noticing Cleveland State have come out extremely physical. The first goal due in part to the physicality, the extra room that they've been afforded in the midfield, due in part largely to that physicality. I like what we're seeing out of Illinois State in that they're not afraid of the 50. They're not afraid to get physical in response. It's just they are going to have to hang by the razor's edge, just like that save from GG Runner.
And I would hate to bring other sports into the conversation, but being able to take that physicality to go for those 50-50s, it's the equivalent of putting a hand up in basketball, even if you're not close. But you don't want them taking a wide open shot. You have to get in their face, even if it's only a little bit. So again, being able to go for those 50s and getting the slightest touch, if at all, could have a huge effect on whether or not that shot goes in.
Enough huge effect. Cleveland State back to work in the offensive zone. It really has just been how willing they are to go the extra mile on the bumps. That has created so many offensive opportunities. This time they have enough room to convert on a brilliant pass from the side wall and cap. Oh, Cleveland State, they've come out. They've made a statement after yesterday's performance.
Oh, yeah. I got to tell you, the first goal they scored, pretty textbook. The second one, oh, my goodness, that was a fantastic pass and beautiful play. I love the pass plays. I always say it's the pass plays that win the games. And reciprocate, we're able to come through and get a double touch out of the corner and just set up a beautiful pass. Now someone needs to reciprocate that and reciprocate the ball and let them get a goal on the board as well.
Speaking of which, they are not reciprocating possession to Illinois College, so it is Viper jumping in to try to take the possession. The problem has been maintenance on said ball control. I do like what we're seeing, especially with some of those passes toward the back wall. If it's undefended, do it. And if you are able to get an interruption, score.
I'm glad that you were able to say that it's Viper, and I hope that's the right name, because I'm looking at him like, oh, yeah, Vipe 7. Yeah, able to find the back of the net here. That is a great play, but I expect no less here in game number 1. Getting down to the wire, 33 seconds left to go. Illinois College only down by 1.
There is a chance, especially off the kickoff, with Illinois College getting the early press, but they're in heavy retreat, and Goose is breathing down with ball control through the midfield and onward. They have to go the entire pitch with 10 seconds to go, and it is not always the easiest task. In fact, quite daunting, but they might be able to do it. They need to get under this ball. It is Rune to do so, but they can't keep it up, and game number 1 will go to Cleveland State, Cap.
And you know what? It was a great start, and I expected no less. It definitely was. I mean, it was close. I gotta say, it did look like Cleveland State were kind of controlling the amount of possession, and it did look like they were a dominant force. But at the very end, we did start to see a resurgence coming from the other side. So again, I really got high hopes going into this one. As again, we get further into this matchup, I really want to see Illinois College start to make that comeback and be able to put goals on board, because they managed to do it, and they were only down 1 goal, but they just didn't have enough time. They waited too long to pop off, really.
And I'll mirror that, but I want to add to that. Most of the time when you're a team that gets beat around the way that Illinois College ended up seeing physical dominance pushed upon them by Cleveland State, you tend to be a little more recessive. I give credit to Illinois College players as well as whoever's behind the scenes with the coaching, because this team, in the face of adversity, was still able to maintain a forward-facing approach. That is what got them that first goal, and that is the positive sign that I take from a game number 1, where while they lost, they still kept the game plan. They looked solid throughout.
Yep, that they did. Well, let's see if they continue to look solid here in game number 2. CSU, once again here, are going to be on the defensive side as they manage to hold off the pressure coming from Illinois College. But I got to say, I like the change of pace. In game number 1, it was Cleveland State to start things off, and now it looks like Illinois College are really starting to find themselves. But now, the danger once again looming for CSU.
You know, if they're trying to break you with the physicality, what do you have to do? You have to remain steadfast, and they did it with speed, just as we see from GG Runner and Rune. They're following the possessions, they're fearless in the moment, and they are actuating their attack when need be the most important time.
And you know what? I get a lot of slack for this. And again, oftentimes I get captain is captain, but you know, I'm a big fan of the physical play. I'm a big fan of the demolitions. And I honestly think if you're not playing physical, you're not playing Rocket League. That's my hot take of the day.
I actually would agree with your hot take. So I don't think it's as steaming as you might think it is.
Be sure to tell the people on Twitter that then.
But I will say, if you go out of your way to be physical, you put yourself in a dangerous space. You want to have the physicality, but you don't want to waste and plug too many resources in, because one missed demo could easily turn into an overcommit. And speaking of overcommits, it's Cipricate to punish this one.
And what a great play, too. I mean, it wasn't really anything special. They just kept, once again, peppering the net over and over again, forcing the goalies out of position, forcing the defense to choke up just a little bit too much. They had 3 players back. They did. They had 3 players relatively around the net, and then they all got pulled out. And once again, off the rip, it's Cipricate to find the back of the net.
But you said they had 3 players back, and that is the danger. When you have 3 players back and they're all doing a similar thought process, it becomes an overcommit. And we don't see an overcommit off the kickoff here as much as it is just a series of unfortunate events. Cleveland State flip the tide in a smattering of seconds. They find themselves on top 2-1, and Illinois College, searching for answers, might be able to get one, but it is quelled to the side.
Yeah, I'm now going right back up high. We're right around halftime, and we're already at the scoreline of game number 1. 2-1, and we still got half of regulatory time to go. And again, I have no surprise on my face right now that these 2 teams are looking so even as we continue on in that CSU try to find another answer, but possession goes back the way of Illinois.
Neutral ball. Immediately picked up by BGG Runner and Viper. High off a guarded back towards Cipricate. Manages to control this through the air and down, but runs into a defensive wall. And yet again, Illinois College are continuing to meet the challenge when it is most important. Chance for a ball on. Boone gonna execute. Puts it high, and Cipricate forced to make the save. And I love the placement there that we got out of Illinois College. They're not afraid to take their time when they are given their time. Another great sign from a team that, despite the fact that they looked overmatched in their defensive zone, they have executed so well. Speaking of an execution, taken off the field is the Illinois College defense.
If you're not getting demos, you're not playing Rocket League. And guess what? We're playing Rocket League. My goodness. Being the forerunner to come through and clear the way for that one to go in. CSU. They have come to play the game. And now they will take a comfortable 2-goal cushion over Illinois College, as now we are approaching that 1-minute mark.
Ball into the Cleveland State zone. I think they're going to need to do more than that, especially when down by 2. Nice pass, but equal to the task save from Viper. Immediately, Cleveland State goes back to the backboard. Illinois State able to keep it guarded, but they're starting to look a little discombobulated on the line. Shot will go wide. They continue to throw themselves at some of these challenges, and the puck has stopped in the middle of the field multiple times despite their efforts. This one gonna be dangerous. Viper able to get back in time. The secondary shot comes through. They need another touch, and Viper just able to get across with the clear, but they're taking gasps for air when they need to be getting offense into the zone.
Yeah, you know what? You know me, I usually don't sugarcoat much or anything at all. I'm pretty cut and dry. And speaking of, I'm pretty sure this game is cut and dry. CSU should be taking this one as the time continues to tick away on Illinois College. CSU will go up 2-0 in the series as the final second has gone, and all that waits is for the final goal to be scored. Goose coming through to put that one on and in. solidifying game 2 for CSU.
I don't like the fact I had to change my note there. I'm kidding, guys. Aside from the point there. But I've wrote down twice now. The CSU physicality. The way that they are utilizing the bumps, the demos, has been lethal. When more than half your offense has come off of the back of that, 3 goals out of the 6 that they have total between these first 2 games, it's fairly impressive, and it shows that they pay heed to how important the bumps are. I write down also, though, Illinois College, the good rotations are there. Their activations to challenge some of these balls have been really solid. The problem has been that after that first initial crust of resistance, they slowly but surely whittle down. And that happens a lot in Rocket League. It's going to be something for them to work on going into game number 3 as they are back against the wall in this best of 5 scenario.
And one thing that I really liked coming from Illinois College is that they tried to change the pace of the game. When they started to take control of the possession for a little bit there, we did see CSU kind of on the back foot playing a lot of defense. And Illinois College, they tried the slower approach, being slower, methodical, and trying to put shots on target. And I like that. They changed the pace, and because CSU is such a very fast break-heavy team, very speedy, it kind of threw them off for a moment. But Illinois College couldn't keep it up, and eventually CSU managed to take possession back. So again, I don't mind changing up the pace of play, but at the same time, you also have to change with the pace of your opponent. So it's somewhat of a double-edged sword. Let's see if Illinois College can really adapt going into game 3, what could be the final game of this series.
Definitely one of the things we both love about Rocket League. It is a constant ebb and flow. You're managing more than just your own boost on the pitch. You are managing possession time. You're managing your touches. You're managing the opportunities that you're given. When you think about it, on average, most players only get about 30 or so touches each and every game. So you want to make sure that you're smart with your opportunities, not giving away the ball, as we see the giveaway from Illinois College there. GG Runner put in a rough spot, able to keep the ball intact and get this all the way down the pitch. So an excellent defense, an excellent clear. They might have to do it again.
Yeah, you put that ball over just a couple of pixels, and that one's going into the back of the net. That woulda, shoulda, coulda been a goal. But we are still here, 0-0, as a friend of mine, Kendo, would say. That's 2 big old goose eggs on the board at 3 minutes and 30, as we are continuing this tug of war at the midfield.
Hey, don't overuse the golden goose, my friend. It only happens so often. And it's the one thing I got going for me. It's my nest egg, as it were. GG Runner done a spectacular job of keeping that ball away from defensive harm, but still feels like Illinois College, despite the fact that they've been able to get the ball into the offensive zone, they haven't had much in the way of possession while they have been there early. Again, GG Runner up early, able to get this one across to reciprocate, and for Illinois College, it shows me they have a brilliant spearhead for both their offense and their defense.
Yeah, and again, believe it or not, Kendo, anytime I mention the goose eggs, I always give you a shout. I say, friend of mine, Kendo, as he would say, there's 2 goose eggs on the board. And, seeing that the physical play has really stepped up from both sides, Illinois College getting in on the physicality, I'm also going to shout out a friend of mine, Cairo Cast, who would say, things are getting a wee bit scrappy.
Oh, yes, they are. Viper, the shot on, immediately saved by Carson. This is going to be dropping down in the box. GG Runner unable to get there in time. They are controlling this all the way through, and Rune, with patience, starts to work it back into the offensive zone. Another brilliant display by Illinois College, staying on top of the ball. But Cleveland State have shown it doesn't matter how brilliant you can be, we can still outperform you in the clutch. And that being said, the defense at times, despite looking shaky, still has kept things solid at 0-0. A bump on the goal line, not enough as that goes harmlessly to the side.
I feel like that's at least the second goal where we saw Illinois College had a shot. It was just slightly off the mark, and I feel like it should be 2-0 right now in the favor of Illinois. They really have got to start putting these opportunities on target. Otherwise, Cleveland State, they're not going to miss those opportunities, and you're just going to see a repeat of what we saw in games 1 and 2.
Oh, the push across, the final countdown into a shot unable to go through yet again. The defense is remaining strong, and with just 60 seconds to go, the question becomes, is one goal all it truly takes? Cleveland State looking to work this one forward. Carson goes through, but immediately gives up to Rune. Rune and Viper, both there, but jumped on yet again by Carson. This is going to be a cross. It's going to be on the crossbar, but they are unable to convert yet again. Quickly back the other way is Cleveland State, but Illinois College just as brilliant on the retreat.
Yeah, but look at this. The pressure coming from CSU of forcing those double commits that we talked about earlier. They're pulling the goalies out. The defense is scrambling. Luckily, though, that midfield presence from Illinois College able to put that shot down in the dirt, but it's still not over as CSU continue to apply pressure.
And the only thing CSU seems to be missing is being on the same page offensively. As far as an extra pass, that one additional touch to break the defense. We go to a golden goal scenario in game number 3. Illinois College have shown us they have the ability to stop Cleveland State in their tracks, but will they be able to convert the final goal? Chance for the bump. It's going to be pushed very far across by Cipricate. Goose immediately breaks on, drops down in the box, and is yet another ball received well by Illinois College as they usher it straight back out through the midfield and beyond. Both of these teams are doing a great job. Point of attack and not allowing either to have much beyond the initial touch.
Well, here we go. The tug of war continues here in extra minutes. As you can see, it is a scramble at the midfield line yet again, not to be surprised. But Illinois College, this is their real opportunity to get a win on the board since either of these teams have yet to go into OT until now here in game 3. There hasn't been a precedent set on which team is the overtime team. So now Illinois College can make that claim and get their first win on the board as now CSU are starting to corral around the net, but it's just going to kiss the crossbar.
Does that end up being a carry all the way back down? No, not quite. And both of these teams doing an excellent job of retreating, and they are just able to make the save on what could have been a game winner. Here comes the push through the midfield. Rune immediately jumping on, slow play, tries to get around the last one back, who is Goose. Does maintain contact, and Viper looking to carry this into the danger zone. The push across, the boost steal. Do they have an additional touchdown? They do. The shot on will be a save by Cipricate. I don't know how to express how much I love the performance of both of these defenses.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say this is a real battle of the defense here. The first team to make a mistake, the first team to falter, unfortunately, is going to be the loser here. But look at the follow-up shot coming from Carson, just barely off the mark. And once again, that Illinois College defense holding strong. I have got to watch out for this CSU team as another flick does go down and by the wayside. We're nearly half of regulation time here in OT at 2 minutes and 30, and still scoreless in OT. Looking for the pass in the mid, will be denied again by Illinois.
Another moment where the activation shows itself to be extremely strong. Cipricate, rest of Cleveland State getting in the offensive zone. They just have not been able to convert in the slot and finding each other for potential one-timers to finish this off. Whereas Illinois College at times does look very much like a well-oiled machine. They haven't had the same level of accuracy once they've gotten there. But, it is literally anyone's match. Anyone's specific game, but Carson comes through. It's the midfield banger.
And again, both of these touches were phenomenal. The pass from Goose, the shot from Carson, it doesn't get much better than that. And what's crazy is that ever since we got into OT, they were doing those plays constantly over and over and over and over again. It was just that the defense from Illinois College was so good that they kept shutting it down over and over and over again. So really, it was CSU just continuing to pepper the net until finally Illinois College ran out of gas on the defense. And unfortunately, that happened just then, just there, over 3 minutes into OT. CSU take the series 3-0.
Yes, they do. And as I was watching that, I had just mentioned how they were struggling finding each other in the slot. And it was mainly due in part to how well Illinois College was reacting. And by reacting, I mean they were actively looking to clog up some of those passing lanes, as well as make sure that no opportunities whatsoever were given. Anyway, one of the things I did want to say here is they brought that out just a little bit. The final shot came from more of a midfield position. They had the right mentality, finding each other for the pass. They weren't able to convert for the longest time, the slightest adjustment. And this is one of the things that's encouraging to me, Cap. Because when you see it at the collegiate level, being able to make educated adjustments on the fly, just like that one, where your offense hasn't been able to beat a defense, what are we going to do? Well, don't want to just continue to throw it and try to punch that. You do the same thing after it's failed 15 times. Well, at that point, it's Einstein has something to say about that. But they brought it out and they converted.
Yeah, they definitely did. And you know what? I really did like seeing Illinois College start to come alive towards the end. And, you know, they really did put on a great show. It started off a little shaky, but again, I think Illinois College, as they further go into the season, they're only going to get better and better and better. We saw it live. We saw it on the pitch today. They started off not so hot, but then once we started getting into the real nitty gritty, we ended up ending in an OT, which was the closest that they have gotten to actually taking it over CSU. So again, we saw real improvement in real time. But with that being said, I said it before we jumped in, I'm going to say it again. CSU is nothing if not resilient.
Yes, they are. And they bring it back with a 3-0 after getting 3-0'd day number 1. You mentioned live. We saw it live, folks. One of the things I love about Midwest Esports Conference is the fact that there are opportunities to see things live. So if you want to see MEC players, collegiate administrators, some of the representation from these educational institutions that are oh so important in driving the continued growth of esports, you should come to watch the MEC Spring Clash, which is coming up next week. It is in Deerfield, ! Deerfield, in the chat, February 10th and 11th. You get to see these teams do what they do best, and you get to see it in a live environment. It's not going to be something that you want to miss. So get your tickets and join us there. We're going to be going to a very quick break, and my understanding is there is going to be an interview just after that break, so do not go away. You're watching the Midwest Esports Conference, Rocket League.
Well, hello and welcome back to some more Rocket League right here on the Midwest Esports Conference, presented by Unified, of course. I am Captain Etsoka, joined by the one and only Kendo Slice, and we actually have a very special guest with us as well. It is none other than Carson from the winning team from CSU that we just got to see. Carson, thank you for sitting down with us. Just right off the rip, how do you feel after coming off of that win here in week number 2?
Yeah, I feel great. I feel confident. I think the team played really well. Looking forward to the next couple of weeks, and yeah.
Carson, physicality seemed to be the theme of the CSU game plan. I gotta ask, just right off the bat, is there someone on the team who specifically ends up kind of taking that role, or is it a team-wide effort? You're looking for the bump whenever you can get it.
Yeah, so for the bump plays, I think it's just everybody on the team. We just like to incorporate it. It gives us space on the offense, so it really does help break down their defense. So everybody, if there's a good opportunity to bump, they look for it.
And of course, one of the things that I had mentioned was the goal at the very end. Game 3 was a well-fought game number 3. Both teams looking stout on the defense. Was there a click moment at all for y'all to kind of bring the pass out? Tell me about the process for your goal at the very end.
Yeah, so throughout the entire game, their defense was really good, but we didn't want to overcommit or try to do anything special. We just stuck to our game plan, got it done in the end, and it really came out for a W. So really good play by the guys.
Love it.
Yeah, it definitely did. Y'all played phenomenally from start to finish. Again, constant aggression on the field, and it really paid off in dividends. And Kendo, did you have any remaining questions?
Hey, you know what, my friend? I am good. I want to congratulate you, Carson, on the victory there. And I got to ask, anyone you want to shout out? Y'all get a little bit of vengeance for the day number 1 loss. Anybody you want to shout out now that you're in that winner's seat?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the shout out and the victory and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd like to shout out the team, Cypricate and the Goose. They played really well. Solid team to play with, so it was fun. I'd like to shout out PJ, the esports director of the Cleveland State. He's made it super fun to be around here. And then, yeah, obviously my parents, mom and dad, super cool. And yeah.
I'm glad somebody's parents are super cool with it, because mine weren't so much. Yeah. No. They are now. But when I was in high school, it was like, oh, you're never going to do nothing with this. But high school was like 20 years ago. So regardless, Carson, thank you so much for sitting down with us. And I got to tell you, we're definitely going to be looking at CSU as we move further in this season. Congratulations on your win.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right, with that being said, that is going to wrap up our first series, but don't you worry, we're going to take a quick short break, but when we come back, we're going to have another series ready to go for you right here on the Midwest Esports Conference. Do not go anywhere.
We're here at the MEC Fall Championship. It's Kendo Slice alongside Lime, a player for the Cleveland State University Valorant squad. And the question of the day, it has been, what does esports mean to you?
Esports it's probably, let's break it down differently. Valorant in general means a lot to me.
Yeah.
During the COVID shutdown, Valorant released. It frankly changed my life, Like I was just like some low-time Overwatch player, not playing very well in Overwatch. Came to Valorant, I was really bad. Probably the worst I've ever been at any game. Started grinding and we got good, and now I'm here playing on a college team, and it means a lot to me,
I really appreciate the reframe. Just taking a step back. Hey, let's scope this. Yeah. I want you to understand. It's changed my life. Thank you. Thank you for that. I do appreciate that. So, is there, being that we're talking about collegiate esports, maybe something that you've learned over the last 3 months, this semester, maybe about yourself, maybe about team, maybe in game?
Just keeping my ego in check, That's always been an issue. Well, I'm probably, keeping my ego in check, for sure.
I didn't
very confident player.
I don't often ask for people to elaborate, but do you mind elaborating a little bit on
early
that?
in the season, we were definitely stomping a good amount, or more like I was stomping, and since my ego was out of control a bit, team was lacking behind, so I decided to take a step back, relax, and just focus on my team instead of myself.
I love that. It's a very unusual answer, which I asked for the elaboration just due to that.
Yeah.
Because the attitude of one person changes the attitude of the team a lot of the time.
Truly.
If not saying that the ego can be a bad thing or is a bad thing or a good thing. I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, it's good to an extent, to have an ego. You want to have an ego over the enemy team, so then you can have full confidence. But if it affects your team, then it's an issue.
Yeah, and being able to see how that works in the team scope. I thank you. That answer, beautiful. LAN environment. We're getting a taste of the LAN environment right now. People yelling at microphones. You got crazy crowds at times. You have the pit. Yeah. There are people all over. There's more consoles than there are sometimes seats to fill.
Truly.
So, how's the LAN environment felt for you? Do you enjoy stuff like this?
I love LAN, yeah. I just love screaming and getting loud. I really enjoy talking. So this interview process in general has just been amazing. This LAN in general has been amazing. I love screaming at people. I love just seeing my team have fun, and I love having fun with my team, simply put.
So do you have a favorite esports moment from this semester that you'd like to share? Like maybe a clippable offense? I don't know.
Every time I try to get an ace for my team, I have multiple players on my team stopping me from getting an ace every single time. And today it happened once. On the last round of the first map against Cornell, I was almost getting an ace, and my team said, don't let him get it. And I simply did not get the ace. But, I'm pretty sure it's happened once every game of season. It's pretty bad. It's like an addiction for them. There's a lot of clips you could pull out of there.
Do you feel like you've grown there as well? It gets you to the point where
definitely humbled me a little bit, no doubt.
Humbled you a little bit, but at the same time, you get hungry for that ace.
Yeah, I truly do. I really do. As soon as I get the first kill, I'm like, okay, I could definitely get an ace here, no doubt.
I like that. That's a little backward thinking, but I tell you what, it's good stuff once you actually really delve into the psychology of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Last question for you, Live, and I'll let you go. But are you looking forward to anything as far as esports goes going into next semester?
Just becoming the best, hitting Radiant, simply.
That's awesome. Well, I wish you well on that journey. You're headed toward Radiant. I have no doubt you're going to get there. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And thank you for the time being in here in the now with me.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Howdy, one and all. We are back here for the Midwest Esports Conference Rocket League action. It is week number 1, day number 2, and 2 lovely gentlemen here to cover all the action for you. Kendo Slice alongside the captain at Soka. Yep, we already saw one banger of a matchup. I get the feeling we got another one coming up. Miami of Ohio. They started their season off extremely well with the 3-0 over Cleveland State. Ashland are going to be looking to recover from a 3-0 of their own, and I'm looking forward to this one.
Oh, absolutely. Just because, again, these are two teams that are pretty close to our hearts here in the MEC. And honestly, they are all close to our hearts. But, when we see the Miami-Ashland matchup, there's a lot going on because my heart wants to go with Ashland, but my mind goes with Miami. So, again, it's going to be a difficult one at that. As you can see, these are the players we have making up both of our teams. We have Risky from Miami, Ohio, along with Fire and OAM. And on the side of Ashland, we got Silent Wolf, Geeb16, and Slippy.
My understanding from yesterday is Risky is fairly well known. It had a little bit of the high school coverage on other broadcasts. So I'd love to see the continued education of high school esports athletes going into college. So Miami of Ohio, my understanding is y'all got a good one there. look down the line at the team and the performance they were able to have yesterday against Cleveland State, especially after seeing what we saw from Cleveland State today, that's an impressive 3-0, if you ask me. Regardless of what happened in that match, that one's going to pay dividends down the road as far as seeding.
What you see, and that's the great thing about, this next game going forward, is because now, even if you didn't perform too great in your previous matchup, now you have an opportunity here and a best of 5 of that to try and turn things around. It's still very early in the season, still plenty of opportunities to try and change your standings, and this could be one of those opportunities, as again, we have Miami taking on Ashland as we get ready to go into this matchup. I got to say, I think Ashland is going to have their work cut out for them, but at the same time, I'm very hopeful. I think they can go toe-to-toe with Miami.
Yeah, did you want to do a prediction, Cap? I mean,
absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No.
Oh, no. I guess we're going to set the precedent of it. This is no predictions league.
You need
None
to have
whatsoever.
I mean, if you want to, just to start, like, I don't know, some type of discussion that we could possibly have. You want to start some predictions just for extra bonus content? Then sure, we could do that. Give chat something to do as well. They can get in on it. You want to start this? This is where we're going. You want to do predictions?
I mean, it is a veritable can of worms. I do agree with you at times. Saying one team is likely to win over the other team always it tends to be a sticky wicket, a slippery downhill. But I'm willing to take the dive on the slip and slide. I definitely have Miami of Ohio on this one, despite the fact that my wife grew up close to where Ashland University is, so I'm very familiar with the Eagles. I just feel like the Red Hawks might have the better bird in them.
Well, as someone who frequently backs Miami, Ohio, especially in the Valorant season, when other people slept on the Miami, Ohio, and I did not, Captain called it back then, and I'm going to call it now here in Rocket League. I also got to go Miami.
Okay. So we have predictions in. I'm hoping that we have teams in, but we are getting ready for match number 2 on the night. Miami of Ohio, Ashland University. It's the Battle of the Birds for MEC. Again, battle with Ebe, Slippy, Risky, Mira. Oh, there we go. We have Sheev in for Geeb, is my understanding. So I am Sheev coming in. One more go of it on the roster's side. So Ashland University, we don't even have the full-on lineup that I was familiar with, at least according to the paperwork that I was given. So I'm going to be interested to see Sheev. All of a sudden, this might change everything.
It's so funny because when you say that it's the Battle of the Birds, like I get it, the mascots of the birds, but whenever I see Miami, Ohio, I just think of them as like a big menacing M. They're just menacing Miami, Ohio to me. That's to me in my head, that's how I see Miami. Not even as a bird, just absolute menaces.
Well, the good looks have funds are out, and I'm looking forward to more amazing Rocket League action. Gonna be shown up and shown out live on the stream today. Ashland University, at least according to our word, has their work cut out for them, and right now the defense is seeming to struggle against some of the pressure that Miami of Ohio are putting out, but that doesn't matter. All you need is one clear, and they're going to look to control this all the way toward the net.
And you know what? I'm loving the pace of play because, Miami, to no one's surprise, is playing very, very speedy, very aggressive. But Ashland University, they're keeping up with the pace. And once again, Miami, Ohio, they are denting the sidebars right now. The sidebars, the crossbars, I'm telling you, they are just working the woodwork. And eventually, one of these has got to fall. But Slippy, with a beautiful save, able to hold off the danger.
So far, early possession has favored Miami of Ohio, but Ashland have been equal to the task in a lot of defensive factors. A lot of misses for both teams. It's fire going to get through, and once again, it rings off of the woodwork. Third time we've seen a ball that was towards a relatively open net. Will end up going off the crossbar. Is this yet another one? No, it's just under, and it's Fira. Fire, the one to score first.
I mean, eventually, after hitting the side and crossbar so many times, you're gonna get it through. But I mean, look how close it was. Even still, the upper 90. Miami, they are really loving those upper 90s. But with that being said, they really can't afford to continue to miss shots like they were before. Because again, Ashland University, when they get an opportunity, I doubt that ball is gonna ring off the crossbar. They're gonna take that opportunity and they're gonna make the most of it. But with that being said, 1-0 so far in the favor of Miami, Ohio.
They are looking to put some extra press down and make that lead an extendable in through the midfield. Once again, Ashland are able to get a touch on the ball, but it just seems like it's no dice. Gets over under 2, but not over the last one back. Ashland University remaining stout on the goal line. Really good showing from them here early on.
Absolutely. As we approach the halfway mark, Miami, Ohio still in the lead. Ashland University still scoreless as Miami look for another one. But guess where it went? Right off the crossbar again. And now Fira on target puts it on and in. It doesn't matter where the ball starts on the goal as long as it ends up in the back of it. 2-0 now in the favor of Miami.
It's definitely a cautionary tale, Cap. You cannot allow that much room between yourself and the ball. I don't want to call it a weak clear because they put quite a bit of power into it, but they lost possession on the clear, and it was their undoing. We see another example of this as Risky able to score.
Yep, that they are. And it's just overall speed here. I mean, literally off the rip. What was it, 12 seconds in between goals? That was just unrelenting speed coming from Miami, Ohio. And that's really how it's been since the start of this matchup. Just all gas and no brakes.
Well, there's one thing I can appreciate. It's somebody with a Blizzard Wizard tag, meaning that they have played pucks quite a bit in their own personal career. That being said.
Hoops or nothing, bro.
No hoops or nothing. Okay, we can agree to disagree.
I put no respect on the Blizzard Wizards. That's right. Call me out on Twitter. I don't care. I put no respect on the Blizzard Wizards. Hey, we ball around here. And speaking of, so does Fira as they find the 4th goal for Miami, Ohio.
It seems like the floodgates have opened, in contrary to the namesake. Fira able to come through with a hat trick early on. So if you have one, make sure you throw your hat in the chat.
You know what? It makes sense that you're a Blizzard Wizard, aren't you? You're up north, aren't you?
Not exactly. I was born up north.
Do you get snow?
I'm a Kansas kid through and through.
Do you get snow?
Yes.
Okay.
Kansas gets everything, dude. Like, we'll end up with 80-degree weather one day, and the next is 20.
Okay, well, I'm in New Orleans. We ball down here. We don't get snow. We don't play no hockey. We don't play with the pucks, bro. We ball. Hoops or nothing.
And we also ball out here in Kansas, but not going to say any name drops for other universities when the display has been Miami of Ohio looking oh so good and risky. Nothing risky about that one. Calculated, if you ask me.
Oh, 100% calculated. I mean, let's keep it a $1.50. Notice I said not a puck 50. I said a buck 50. That's yeah, exactly. This is what we're going to. But anyway, let's keep it a $1.50. Every single goal that has come from Miami, Ohio, has been 100% calculated. They are feeling themselves right now. They are in a groove. And more importantly, they're finding each other on the pitch. A lot of these plays have just been well communicated from Miami, Ohio. So not even the last goal being calculated. I would dare to say every goal from Miami has been calculated. And let's chalk up another one coming from Fira, who is on fire.
Very much so. 6 goals total, 4 of them from Fira, so really interesting to see the development. Ashland, in the first couple minutes, looked extremely stout, but as we said, the floodgates seem to have opened. Miami of Ohio are finding every angle possible, also refraining from finding the crossbar like they did in the first minute. We do see ball in through midfield. Do we have a shot on? Yes, we do, but it's just high. And Ashland almost had an answer. That would have gone a long way for solace.
Didn't you know crossbar syndrome was contagious? It went from Miami to Ashland. And now Miami find their 7th goal to go with 18 seconds left on the board. Miami, it just seems around halftime they just flipped the switch, right?
It absolutely does. But my hope is that scoring goals is contagious, and by watching Fyra, I can raise up 2 or 3 ranks tonight as I do my daily ranked grind. Oh my, are we getting a treat? Do we end up seeing the obligatory trip to Brazil, or will Miami of Ohio keep the foot on the gas? I get the feeling it is all gas and no brakes. One more for the road. Not if Slippy has anything to say about it.
Well, there you have it. That was a game number 1 going back the way of Miami, Ohio, 7-0. And they played phenomenally. Again, like we said, all gas, no brakes, but it did take a little bit to get to top speed. Granted, Miami did start out with the lead, and they were playing phenomenally. They didn't really flip the switch until around halftime. That 2 minutes and 30 seconds is when Miami was like, okay, it's time to cook.
And cook they did. They were cooking with Fyra, as it were. 5 goals, 2 extra on the side of Risky. So it was a team effort, and despite not getting to see the stats directly on the screen, I know they had extra help, and it was a team-wide fulfillment. And yeah, the assists on the back end, brilliant stuff. OWAM, my understanding, had involvement in a couple of those goals as well. So love what we got to see out of Miami of Ohio. I need Ashland to revert to what we saw in the first couple minutes, because they were on ball, able to attack certain scenarios. And if you're the coach, it's what you want to be talking about. Yeah, this is a team that looks like they might have you overmatched, but you can't play tentative. You have to remain fearless and stay on ball with your actuation and with your attack.
100%. As now we get ready to head into our next matchup. Let's see if Ashland University has what it takes to answer back against a dominating presence coming from Miami.
Well, out of the midfield is going to fall to Ashland. And they look for early control, but Fyra all the way through the midfield, able to just dip, duck, dive, and dodge their way to a push through the midfield and onward. Ashland again will have a chance on, but a miss is going to allow a shot towards the net. Follow up from Fyra will be a goal, and OWAM gets a nice assist tally.
Well, again, starting things off very quickly. Miami, Ohio, wasting no time whatsoever. Looking very, very strong. And off the rip, you can see the pass plays already paying off in dividends. And just the overall communication between Miami, Ohio just seems to just continue to work as we see another pass play find the back of the net.
OWAM making use early on has been the spearhead, finding loose balls in the middle of the pitch and creating off of them. Miami of Ohio wasting no time to assert dominance, and for Ashland, they're going to have to switch their fortunes around or chalk it up to another learning experience. Not that learning experiences are a bad thing. Just would love to see a goal potentially right here. Slippy using to retreat at the moment, and it's once again ushered back into defensive confines for the Eagles. Wow.
A real scramble in front of the Ashland University net, not just from Ashland, but from Miami too. Again, you know, they found the crossbar. But with that being said, their shot count is so high that it doesn't matter if they hit the crossbar. As long as they keep putting shots on target in vicinity, crossbar or not, they're going to find the back of the net eventually.
Ashland would love to see that timer tick down and a couple goals in their favor during that eventually process. You see a demo on the back end. Risky taking out the third man, Slippy. Risky immediately trying to convert, jams this one down. It all starts, Cap, with that demo on the back end, takes them out of rotation. We see the stationary defender on the goal line. That's just all the more opportunity for you to follow through and get a dunk like that one.
And you say, even though that doesn't come up as an assist, it still, in my opinion, registers as a team play. Because like you said, there was a bump, physicality, opened the way for Risky to come through and get the goal. So, you know, even though it's not on the record as a team play or an assist, I'd like to think of it as one. But that definitely is. There's an assist on the board to OWAM. And that was a great follow-up three-way pass play for Miami, Ohio.
OWAM now a hat trick of assists. So really good effort.
It's called a playmaker medal, you muffin.
Oh my.
It's my favorite medal.
I mean, mine too. Nobody cares to remember the season 4 wingman from minor league doubles.
Okay, you got me there. Touche.
Back in the day when I was averaging an assist a game. Yeah, that did. Nope, not gonna happen anymore. Anyway, 2:16 on the clock and a chance on the goal line. This is gonna be risky, but they are there.
I mean, so far I've been watching Risky play, and none of their plays have been too risky. They just been balling. You know, they don't even have to take the risk. They're just putting shots on target, and it's paying off in kind. But with that being said, 4-0, still in the favor of Miami. Past the 2-minute mark now, and it just seems like Miami has just been all defense all day. Is Risky. No risk in that one either, being able to find the shot on a wide open net after a beautiful pass as well.
Yes, indeed, that was fluid. At this point, Ashland University going to have to liquidate the defensive assets. They need to put something together, find solace. They'd love to get an icebreaker on the opposite side of the pitch. It has been all Miami of Ohio. It doesn't seem like the Redhawks have any intention of stopping. 90 seconds to go. Risky in the midfield, immediately jumping on that ball. Slippy does manage to get in, and they're looking to try to protect the midfield, but instead they put themselves on the back foot, and Kyra again with a goal.
How do you make these? How do you get that one in between the two before either of them can get the touch? Is it just the Finnick finesse? Like, is it that is there something about the Finnick that gives it the little extra oomph that 2 octanes on the sides can't close the gap, or is Fyra just that good? I mean, my goodness.
I think we'll chalk it up to my friend Stax, who says, "Just win, forehead."
Fair enough. Did you know Stax is actually my older brother?
Wait a
Can
minute.
you not tell the resemblance?
I know, right?
Yeah, big guys and
Nice.
beards. We're all related.
Exactly. We are all related. And at the moment, the most relatable thing that we have is a potential another 7-0 score line if Miami of Ohio can get another goal. And I don't doubt that there might be a shot on net shortly. The Ashland University defense is putting up quite a bit of resistance here. Work this ball side to side, corner to corner, getting the clear, but Miami Ohio's mid-line, that third and second defenders back, finding a little bit more deep of a rotation, and it is another thing paying dividends. This OWAM gonna score a goal.
Yep, that's going to be their 7th goal here in game number 2, and it's nothing but speed coming from Miami. 9 seconds left on the board, and again, I think it's safe to say that Miami will be taking the dub here in game 2, looking absolutely dominating on the offensive side of the pitch, being a... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. There it is. Oh, no. Did they just do it for the memes? Is it the fabled Brazil on the board I see, Kendo?
You know, I'm always up for a trip to Brazil. I tend to need the extra vitamin D.
Yeah, they did it for the memes. Wait. Nope.
Maybe.
Ball still. Nobody even retreated for that. But regardless, Miami, Ohio will take game number 2, 7-1, the fabled Brazil, as they go up 2 in the series, and now are on the cusp of getting a 3-0 sweep, our second of the night, possibly. But I still have hope, still have faith in Ashland going into game number 3.
I will say, if there's one thing that goal does reveal to me, Cap, it's the fact that there are punishable opportunities that are on the docket for Ashland University. I'd like to see a little more thought process being put into their breakout and how they are moving the ball forward from the defensive zone. Granted, they've been there the entire time, so it's easy for me to say analytically, oh yeah, work on the breakout. You got to break the ball out of your own zone. No, if you're able to do so with a pass, where you potentially find a pinch, where you could potentially find some play off of the wall, that will pay great dividends in the long run. I'd like to see Ashland have a little more ball control in their own zone, because that is where true ball control starts.
Yeah, and we really need to see the pace from Ashland stepping up a notch, because again, Miami, they've been too quick, Kendo. They've been too quick on the pitch, and it just seems like Ashland has just been trying to play keep up the entire time. So now they really got to start getting to the ball before Miami does, because Miami just doesn't get to the ball first. They take possession. They're winning the 50-50s as well. So now we really need to see Ashland step it up in the pace. And honestly, great start winning the kickoff and getting the first shot of game 3. That's how you want to start if you're Ashland.
Agreed. And good communication on the back end. Going hard for that shot on the goal line. They've kept the ball in the danger zone. They're looking to be responsible with some of the possession that they've been afforded, but seems like the offense finally quelled by Miami's defense. Oh, wham. To work this one around into the middle of the pitch, and it's tossed to the side. Silent Wolf got a lot of that one. Another potential loose ball in the midfield. Love the demo on the back end of that play. And another one coming through. Ashland finding a little bit of new life, and they're doing it in the form of physicality.
Well, I think that's the perfect answer, because let's be honest, Miami, Ohio have spent a lot of time in Ashland territory, but now Ashland is declaring that if you're going to come into our side of the pitch, you are starting to get met with violence, with the physicality, with the demos, and I absolutely love it. You can't spend all that time in enemy territory for free. Eventually, you're going to have to pay the price, and that's usually going to be a demolition.
Oh, back pass brilliance. It's Owam. Gonna get the conversion, and Fira returns the favor. Watch this control from one side to the other, able to get the backward touch and keep things in controlled confines. Ashland University had defense on the backboard. They had the initial challenge that was floating with Fira throughout, and they are able to thread the needle on that due to what I would equate to an immaculate pass play.
Absolutely. But also, you can see Miami, Ohio did have to step up their presence a little bit there, because again, Ashland did step up their defense, so they had to pull off a pretty impressive pass play to get that first goal on the board. But still, Miami, Ohio's offense just simply can't be denied. As you can see, they do take the 1-goal lead, but this time it took them 2 minutes to get it done. So again, Ashland, they're improving. We're seeing them get better in real time, and that's what I'm here to see, is now they look to try and get something done on the board, so that way they can try and equalize as we approach halftime.
With Miami of Ohio continuing to find some of those passes, I have loved to see interference, just like we saw exhibited from Ashland University. They're doing a great job of changing up the pace of Miami's play. Oh, that one was close. Silent Wolf got the shot on, and they are looking to continue to keep the press forward. Miami of Ohio, for the first time, look discombobulated on the defensive end.
Yeah, even the ball cam got shook up a little bit there. I mean, my eyes got crossed on that last play. Thought it was going in, and then it didn't, and now it's off and down by the wayside, and now we have another demo, and now the ball's going the other way, and what a pinch to send that one all the way across the pitch to Risky, who's going to be going high and off the side to get the 50-50 to Owam. They have a little juice, but not enough to chase, as now Fira is going to be dropping back, gets it off the wall, back over towards mid. Risky again, able to take possession away, and now it just seems to be a running of the clock as no team has managed to score in what feels like a minute or two.
I think that's credit to just how attenuated Ashland University are on the ball. They are not allowing very many opportunities, very much anything. They are canceling out the room that they were giving Miami of Ohio early on, and it's Silent Wolf! It's a shot down after a brilliant physical zoning of Vera off the ball by Slippy. They are not going to get credit for the assist, but this is full on an assist.
I mean, let's be honest. I feel like a caster giving you an assist is worth more than an assist in game. I mean, come on now. We all know that was an assist. And not only that, but it was a creative one. It wasn't necessarily getting the pass off the ball, but you still created an avenue for your team to score. And that's what we refer to as the unsung heroes. As another ball from Ashland was on target, but will be deflected.
Now with only 45 seconds to go, we have ourselves a ball game with a shot on Risky, able to make the save. The continued push by Ashland University as the Eagles fly into formation in the offensive zone. Here comes Risky though. The long ball is put high by Slippy off of the backboard and played forward yet again by Miami of Ohio. And I think they want to slow things down in the offensive zone. Too many loose touches and long clears have turned into Ashland University opportunities, and Ashland are doing more than just taking possession of the ball. They're keeping it all the way into the offensive zone. They have been able to go, and with such a small amount of time left on the clock, we see overtime for Ashland and Miami.
And this is our second OT of the night and of the evening, and it's going to start out in favor of Ashland. That could have been a big opportunity, but that one goes down. I don't know if they'll be able to get back, but they do. That one was looking really scary for Ashland, as this could be their first opportunity to take a win off of Miami, as now this one goes the other way, back into Ashland territory.
And Miami of Ohio want to keep it there, but it just does not seem like they have the same level of pressure, of control over their possession. Kira has been exuding that the entire time. I'll leave my words. You watch this goal.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's really not much you could do. There was just too much speed coming off the backboard, and unfortunately not enough time for the defense to react. Wow. Fira just doing Fira things and getting a high-speed backboard touch to put the dagger into, unfortunately, Ashland University, as it will be Miami, Ohio. Both of our predictions were correct, as they will take the series 3-0 over Ashland.
You talk about unsung items, and I want to say this is credit to Ashland University, and this is what MEC Scholastic Esports, whether it be at the collegiate level or the high school level, is all about. A team that has beaten you 14-1 over 2 games. It would be so easy to get disheartened. It'd be so easy to almost throw, to take the attitude of, I just want to be done with this. What we saw out of Ashland was a gut check for the ages, and credit to everybody on that team as well as the people behind that team. I saw something for the Ashland Eagles that tells me that this program is in good hands going forward, and it encourages me to see when you have a team that couldn't stop a team from scoring, immediately take it in that third game when the back's against the wall to an overtime like we saw right there. That is Scholastic Esports to me. That is the unsung factors of Scholastic Esports. So credit to the Eagles. Y'all did amazing.
Oh, absolutely. But ultimately, I got to give it up to Miami as well, because honestly, if there was like a top 5 plays of the game, I think Miami might have all 5, especially Fira. But with that being said, you know what? There is also a top 5 on what it takes to power esports events. And one of those things is going to be the scope of esports. There's a lot of things that go into running an esports event like MEC Clash or MEC Championship. And one of the most important aspects is setting up the scope of your event, like setting your goals and balancing your profit with your expectations. If you want to learn more about how people power an esports event and more, type !top 5 in the chat and check out our article, What It Takes, Top 5 Things Powering Esports Events. But with that being said, that is also going to wrap up our second match of the night, 3-0 in the favor of Miami, Ohio. But don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with an interview from one of the players from Miami, Ohio, right after this.
And welcome back, one and all. Interview time for Midwest Esports Conference. It's Kendo Slice, it's Captain Netsoka, but we are joined by Fira, live and in Canberra, I might add, our player from Miami of Ohio. Fira, how are you feeling about that win? It was pretty dynamic, 16-2 over 3 games.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. I think the first 2 games we were playing really well, playing our game. The last game, just making it entertaining. Obviously, giving the caster something to cast about. So overall, I think we felt pretty good about it, and we had a good game. So.
Yeah, you guys actually had a phenomenal game. I mean, just seeing you guys work was really, really impressive. But, I want to peek behind the curtain if we can. I need to know, what is your practice regimen like when y'all are working to become this good? What is the secret in the sauce to be like Miami, Ohio?
We practice a few times a week. We usually just scrim. That's basically our practice regimen. We play scrim about 2 times a week, and then scrim for our games, and that's usually it. So, and then we just try and come into the game as prepared as possible.
So I guess it's not that big of a secret, just good old dedication and hard work. But one thing I also wanted to ask is that you seem to be a really big offensive powerhouse for Miami. You had some insane goals throughout the entire series, a real big offensive presence. I got to ask, would you consider yourself to be the striker for your team, or is there really no definitive roles and the ball just happened to fall your way tonight?
Yeah, I don't think we really have any definitive roles at our team. We just have a certain play style, I guess. But yeah, I do like to pride myself, in my offensive ability. I do a lot of training packs, especially Double Tap Playground. Shout out to that. It's my favorite one out there. So I'm pretty good at double taps, I have to say. So yeah, I think I'm a pretty more mechanically inclined player. So when the ball comes my way and I have a chance, I go for it. So.
Of course, it's the winner's privilege whenever you get the opportunity not only to be on stream, but you tally yourself a win. I imagine you've been through this once already. But do you have anybody you want to shout out? Maybe a student administrator, maybe a coach, maybe one of your teammates, maybe it's mom and dad at home.
Yeah, my teammates, obviously, they're a great asset to this team. We wouldn't be able to win without the 3 of us. It's a team effort, it's a team game. Yeah, our director James, he's been really helpful and everything. There's get a little bit of love in the stream. Yeah, James has been really good too, and letting us do our thing. And yeah, obviously my dad's watching right now, so hello. And yeah, that's about it.
Love it when we hear about parents who are supporting their young ones. But Fira, it's been a joy to see y'all on. Congratulations, starting the season off strong, 6-0, 2 series under the belt. You take a break, enjoy your time, and who knows, maybe we'll see you at the Clash here in a week.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Well, folks, it has been 2 matches down. There is 1 more to go, and you're not going to want to miss it. The final one that we have on the docket for you is Ohio Northern University going up against Simpson College. Simpson going to be breaking in the action for the first time on the stream in this season. So do not miss it.
Hi, everybody. We are here at the MEC Fall Championship. It's Kendo Slice alongside Miami University of Ohio's Panarin. Panarin, we've been asking everybody a question. It is, what does esports mean to you?
Esports means a lot to me. It means bonding with your teammates. It means having good communication across the board, and it means competition.
Competition, always a fun thing. I do enjoy myself a competition. We have scholastic aspects to this because this is a collegiate championship, and we're kind of commemorating the semester that is gone by here with the fall championship. Reminiscent. Was there anything over this last 3 months or so, the fall semester, that you feel like you learned about yourself or learned about a character?
Yeah.
Tell me something you learned.
Yeah, I mean, esports here at Miami, it was a significant extracurricular event. We practiced a lot. We scrimmaged a lot. So I had to learn how to balance my school life with the esports life. So that's definitely something I've learned. I've learned just how to communicate better in general, especially like with my teammates, and not only in competition, but like just learning how to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, being with your teammates at something like a LAN goes a long way as well. Tell me about your LAN experience. Have you enjoyed LAN so far? First LAN? 100th LAN? What's the process?
It's not my first LAN. I used to play Rocket League LANs in Columbus. But, yeah, no, I love the LAN environment. It's perfect for communication. It's perfect for bonding. I feel like you can really it definitely just helps communication a lot because you can talk to your teammates face-to-face. You can really hammer home points that need to be hammered home.
Yeah, very much so. So, with this last semester, it's gone by. We're commemorating it, as it were. And was there a specific moment in Fall 23 that stuck out to you?
Yeah, I think for my team, I'm sure they probably said this too, but it was probably our comeback against ONU on Lotus. We lost the series, but I think we were down 10-2 and ended up winning Lotus. And ONU's up there right now, and they're probably about to win the final, so we're pretty proud of that win.
Yeah.
So I would say that.
That is quite the landmark, especially if they do end up finalizing what could be a conference championship on the stage. And last question, and it's more of an opportunity to shout out someone who's had an impact on you over this fall 23 semester. Do you have anybody who sticks out there?
Yeah, for sure. So I would like to shout out everyone at Miami University that supports the esports, including the Forge, which is a student-led group that does all the behind-the-scenes work for esports. They're very important to us, and they help us succeed.
Dang, there are things going on at Miami University of Ohio. I always it's one of my favorite things about Miami University of Ohio. There is, of course, the one down in Florida, but we always have to make sure that we know it's that the Ohio's. Never mind. That goes a long way in the wrong direction. Anyway, I really appreciate your time, and thank you for the interview.
Yep, nice to meet you.
Howdy, one and all. Welcome back to the last matchup of the night, closing out week number 1 of MEC Rocket League action. It's Kendo Slice alongside Captain at Soka. And Captain, there are times that I'm just straight up jealous of the fact that you're a captain, and well, the best I can say is my kids call me Captain Daddy.
Wow, that is a lot. Yeah. Okay, Captain Daddy. Okay, respect the fatherhood. They just call me Captain at Soka. I have a cat. That my cat's name is Captain Meow Meow. So that is also another captain. Is the cat. So
why
there are many
have
captains.
I never seen Captain Meow Meow? This is amazing. This is revelationary.
Because they're new. They're still relatively new and they're camera shy. So we'll have to wait to another day to introduce the world to Captain Meow Meow. But the point is there are many captains out there. Some are dads, some are cats. And then there's Atsuko. But with that being said, we are back with the Midwest Esports Conference with some more Rocket League, and we have ONU taking on Simpson College. Now, this is going to be another interesting matchup just because ONU, again, one of those top formidable teams, but Simpson College, nothing to wave a stick at either. You know, Simpson College should be pretty good, but are they going to be good enough to go up against ONU? Let's get ready to find out. As from the ONU side, we have J-Rup versus Stin. I'm just going to say Stin because that looks like a face. The O.O looks like a face to me. So that's going to be Stan. You might be Stan today. And then to wrap things up for ONU, it's Kip. And on the other side for Simpson College, we got J.K. Rusher King and Barky and June Bugo for Simpson College. June Bug. Well, so June Bug 04 then. June Bug.
I'm going to try not to laugh too hard.
It's all good. These are my attempts at pronunciating on the first try. We've already,
that is the fun thing about all of this. Again, folks, I'm sure that we're gonna have people correcting us throughout the night, but that's half of the fun. We are getting to know a brand new portion of the Midwest Esports Conference esports plethora of games and titles that we're able to do. And Rocket League, of course, is a game that's near and dear to our hearts. So we're being introduced for the first time to a lot of these young folks who are venturing on through their academic upbringings and through their careers as scholastic athletes. So we're gonna learn as we go. STN, J-Rup, yep, yes.
I was gonna say, speaking of learning, I just want to throw out there, if any player has a little red line come up whenever they type their gamer tag, don't have the expectation of someone to pronounce it correctly off the first rip. I'm just saying, because if spell check doesn't recognize it as a word, guess what? Neither do we.
It's okay. If anybody ever wants to get vengeance and pay me back recompense at a live event, just call me Ken Doss Lice. Or,
you can call me
Zero. Ken Zero. That's another fun one.
Oh, I get Atsuka a lot. I get Atoska for some reason.
Yeah.
But no, the one I get the most is Atsuka, and then. Okay, and now I'm hearing word that Hawkeye is in for Junebug, so it didn't matter how I pronounced their name. Win-win.
Speaking of Hawkeye, they might have needed a Hawkeye for Ohio Northern to put that one through. Not going to be able to convert this time around, and Simpson College are able to breathe easy going into this game number 1 just for a moment.
Ooh, once again,
I had a little bit of bombastic side-eye there for a second, Cap.
Oh, what? I was right there with you. I'm thinking ONU's got to score eventually, right? I mean, their shots have been on target. They're finding an opening, but somehow, and again, take this the best way possible, but ONU has managed to miss in spectacular fashion until finally Kip gets the first one to go for ONU.
Yes, indeed, and part of me was surprised it didn't come earlier than that just because of how much the ball dangled on the goal line in the early stages here. Not a slight at all for Simpson College. It ended up taking a little bit longer for Ohio Northern to convert on one of those nets that seemed to be open. So they can breathe easy for a moment, a chance to reset everything for Simpson College, and they're going to want to do so by maintaining control in their own defensive zone, at least here in the early on. Speaking of control, Ohio Northern, beautiful passing.
I mean, that was beautiful possession through and through. I mean, I was getting actually to make the comment that, you know, regardless of how many missed attempts we have seen from ONU, their possession and handling of the ball from one side of the pitch to the other is just absolutely saucy. I mean, when they take control of the ball, they take control. Now, when it comes to finishing, you know, there definitely should be about like 5 goals on the board right now for ONU. But hey, there's nothing wrong with a 2-0 lead.
Here we are as Ohio Northern once again exudes their control from the midfield on. To push this into the next zone. Given plenty of time, and that is something that Simpson University, or College, excuse me, is going to have to do. Is going to have to shore up a little bit. You want to make sure that you are on ball, making sure you keep presence behind these challenges. That's going to be the first step. Of course, this is a best of 5, so even despite the fact that this team's down 2-0 in game number 1, they have plenty of time to make adjustments, both on the fly and in between games. So one change for the better could end up going a long way in bringing solace for this game number 1, as at the moment Ohio Northern going to find another connection.
Yeah, and then there is another just phenomenal touch there. And it's unfortunate because when they had that pass coming from J-Rup, they both pulled on it. Both defenders from Simpson College, they both pulled on it. They went for the challenge, and it just left an opening for Ohio Northern to put that one in. And now it's 3-0 in the favor of ONU right at the 2-minute mark.
Play on. College finally moving this ball up together, doing so as a unit, so I'm always looking for the positives, even in light of the fact that they are down by 3. They are moving fairly well up the field together. It's something that you always want to see offensively. They have to move it up together because team-based offense does a whole lot better than just trying to cram the ball into the net. 1v3. Not so much. You want that full 3v3, and JK Rusher King able to put it through.
You know when you see a play develop and you're watching you're watching the play really come together, and you know you see that initial pass out the corner and you're thinking to yourself, that looks good. That looks good, and sure enough it was, because the follow-up shot was a laser into the upper 90. Simpson College strike back, none too soon, but easy come easy go. ONU gets another of their own.
No doubt that it was all about trying to get the quick answer for Ohio Northern. They came in with a little bit of everything. The pass, the carry execution, and the demolition create space for that goal in Simpson College. Despite the solace of getting that first goal and breaking the ice, Ohio Northern have asserted their dominance in game number 1. That being said,
ONU is just mean. They didn't even let me get. They didn't even let me get hype for Simpson College's goal. You know, I was in the middle of praising them, and then they just score. That's just rude.
You see, you got to just praise them anyway, Cap. I kind of want to hear some praise for Simpson College. We'll leave that for the in-between game, but I'll give you 40 seconds to get ready for that one. It is Uncle STN now. And told what that name means, but I will continue with the STN just for lack of time to spell it out for y'all here today in the crowd. Push on, Simpson College One more goal, working together yet again, not able to get it over Kip, but they continue the charge. Is it the third attempt that goes through? Not quite, but signs of life from Simpson College in this 4-1 effort, game number 1.
And you know what? It was a really good first game. ONU come through, and we'll take it 5-1 as the clock hits 0, and the final goal will go on for J-Rupp. And Simpson College, they did start to wake up a little bit, but again, by then it was just too little too late. The game had been foregone, but I do expect to see more of a presence coming from the side of Simpson College once we head into game number 2. Again, they just took a little while to wake up, that's all.
Do you have any positivity for them? I'm going to hold you to it. I want to hear a positive take for what Simpson was able to do in game number 1.
I was hyping them up on their first goal. It was a good goal. They got it on target, and I was caught off. Like the time between Simpson College's goal and the next goal scored by ONU was not enough to give praise to Simpson College. That's all. And Simpson College, you know, again, they started to come alive. So you know what? I will still be positive for Simpson College because now we got a brand new game. The score is set back to 0. We got 4 minutes and 45 on the clock. Simpson College, they still have another shot.
Ooh. And speaking of another shot, it will be saved by J.K. Rusher King. What I will add a little bit of positivity as well. What I saw at the very end from Simpson College, everyone working together, getting 3 straight shots on net. Definitely a positive sign, and it goes hand in hand with what we've already seen as far as the identity of this school goes. They have done an excellent job working the ball forward together. Once they get in the offensive zone, they have been able to exact multiple tries on net. So there are ingredients to work with, but it takes more than just flour to make a cake, and Simpson will be looking to have their cake and eat it too. The big save on the goal line.
And once again, ONU just applying that pressure, and it's I feel debated because I'm thinking ONU is going to score, but once again, when they had the opportunity to score, it goes by the wayside. That was the riskiest save I've ever seen. Totally unnecessary. They could have hit it out another way, but I guess they had to throw some style points on the drift, and then they turned the defense into offense with the assist from Uncle Stan, finding their teammate Kip on the other side of the pitch. That was just flawless execution from start to finish, from goal to goal, post to post, coast to coast. ONU now up 1-0.
First 91 seconds for Simpson College in game number 2. I don't feel have been bad by any stretch of the imagination. The defense have shown itself rise to the occasion. My issue right now comes with the position of challenge. This ball is getting far too deep, not just into their defensive zone, but it is in the box. It is in the danger zone before they are able to finally come and breach the challenge. Case in point, J-Rupp is just able to usher this down from help. STN coming through.
I'm still confused on how that one went in because it looked like the defender was there and it just went off the crossbar, off the defender, back into the net. It's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. But with that being said, I hope that we, if ONU manages to take the dub, that we get to interview Uncle STN, because I want to ask if it's Stan, because I'm going to call them Stan. You call them STN. And then I guess we'll find out eventually what the pronunciation is. But regardless, we are still in the thick of it here in game number 2, approaching halftime, and Simpson College down 2-0 from ONU.
That being said, it's I'm fine that I feel like they are much more comfortable with than the previous. And with the defense that we have seen so far, it is very encouraging. That being said, the offense also very encouraging from Ohio Northern. They've been given enough room. Again, the point of challenge is where I contest Simpson College needs to move it out of their zone. Ohio Northern have been given so much room in the midfield, and they're starting to do some very fancy things off of the side walls and off of the ceiling with their controls of possession. Ball should be a goal, but it is robbed from Simpson College.
Oh, that's not fair. That was Pixels. You got duped by the Pixels. But at the same time, I mean, we got to give credit where credit was due. The save was literally insane. That they fish hooked that one out of the back of the net. And what shoulda, woulda, coulda been a goal for Simpson College, absolutely robbed by ONU.
Looked like me at the talent show after a bad joke. That's what happened. Got the full cane and hook stick and treatment completely
and a friendly
taken off of the goal line.
And a friendly tomato to the face from Captain Atsuka.
Exactly. I appreciate it. I'll make sure I put it in a stew later. 52 seconds left in what should be the 2-1 game. But Ohio Northern continue to show control. Simpson College, though, breaking in on this ball. A chance for a 2v1. And STN will hold off, but the angle from J.K. Rusher King will score a goal.
And none too soon. 37 seconds left. And with that goal, Simpson College are within one of equalizing. And that is more than enough time in Rocket League to put a goal on target. We have seen a lot more done with a lot less. Let's see if they can get it done, as now the time will tick against Simpson College.
Still not sure what was more difficult on that goal, the angle or the fact that they were able to get a bump into the net and a bump out of the net to make sure that nobody was able to save that angle. Well, regardless, there's 20 seconds to score another one and get things back. Simpson College, not necessarily resting on their laurels, but Ohio Northern are going to exude control from one end of the pitch to the other. 20 seconds. Hold my possession, as Simpson College aren't even given the opportunity to touch the ball in the last 20 seconds. Ohio Northern, insult to injury to finish off game number 2.
And you know what? That was a fantastic read and shot by Kip. But can we just point out how mechanically gifted Uncle Stan is? Like, I'm pretty sure they got a playmaker medal that game, by the way. They were throwing out the assists. They were playing point guard for their team. And every single time it was coming off of a wall, flip, reset, follow-up touch from Uncle Stan that was just going off of the backboard, throwing the defense through a loop, and then leaving a wide open shot for their teammates. And there's a reason Uncle Stan was the MVP that game. Again, their mechanical prowess is insane. They are literally playing point for ONU right now.
So I do want to, again, go into this name. At the point that we are at, I know the answer to the question of what is the name.
But you're not going to tell me. You're just going to let me dig my grave.
No, it's not about the digging of the grave. My sincere hope is that Soul Taker Nation will take on the moniker of Uncle Stan.
All right, fine. Fair enough. I mean...
Because in all honesty, it's been giving us the uncle treatment throughout. They have done a great job on balls, facilitating some of the offense for Ohio Northern. Definitely seems like they have a bit of a leadership role on the pitch for this squad.
Absolutely, but I'm still convinced there's somebody out there who has an Uncle Stan. I've never heard of an Uncle Soul Taker Nation, but with that being said, I didn't know that was their name. I didn't know it was Soul Taker Nation. So again, my brain was trying to brain, and the best thing I could come up with was Stan. I didn't know it was an acronym. How am I supposed to know that?
Now we do know, and then on top of everything else, been giving me the good old Gravity Falls vibes with Great Uncle Stan. And so far, Ohio Northern have shown themselves to be great. The combination of Kip, STN, and J-Rup has been pretty stinking fluid, and They have done very well with the room afforded to them. Simpson College, however, have started to take the battle to Ohio Northern, and a loose ball like that is going to get punished every single time.
And you know what? It's no surprise because every time they take possession of the ball, they get closer and closer and closer. That one rings off the sidebar, but what is the old adage in Rocket League? Sometimes the best passes come off of missed shots, and it rings true today. Simpson College, for the first time in the series, take the lead over ONU.
They're going to have to keep that attenuation. They're going to have to stay on the attack and not give Ohio Northern the space that they have been afforded in the previous 2 games of this match. Here comes Kip. Kip has the double tap potential, but another brilliant save. And unsung hero, as a theme earlier, J.K. Rusher King is not just an unsung hero. They've got the full-on cape. Oh, but Kip unable to make the save the 3rd time.
Yeah, well, I got to say that lead from Simpson College was interrupted with that pass. My goodness, that was a beautiful all the way down, finding their teammate, and now the lead for Simpson College is no longer. ONU tied things back up 1-1 right at the half, right at around 2 minutes and 30.
Definitely of note for Simpson College. They do have quite the savior on the goal line, and J.K. Rusher King gonna need another one on the goal line, and out. They are able to return the favor from game number 2, as that one will stay just out. Are they able to get the transition back into the offensive zone? No, Kip is there, looking to maintain possession. Hawkeye into the corner. The lose out gets the ball high off the backboard. Ohio Northern will look for the quick transition. J-Rupp off the sidewall. They have a secondary touch. No, but the team effort was gold. The quick retreat, and STN just able to keep this one out again. Cap, the rapid fire pace is daunting to me, and Ohio Northern look to be choosing to slow things down and go for a physical approach.
You know what? I'm not even mad at it. As you can see now, J-Rupp trying to go for the musty flick. Somehow pulled 2 defenders out, leaving an open net for Uncle STN, Soul Taker Nation, as they will find a goal on the board. What will chalk up as a double commit, an error, if you will. But it is still going to be an ONU 2-1 lead.
I do find it funny if there is an interview question. That is definitely going to be one of mine. Can we just call you Uncle Stan at this point? Is that going to be rude to ask a college student to call them Uncle Stan? Maybe.
Maybe not.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned to see whether or not we do get this opportunity for content live on stream. But right now, the content is on the pitch, and it is 60 seconds left. Simpson College starting to look refined in their approach towards the middle of the field onward, and another save on the goal line. Again, the saves look brilliant. It gives us a gasp, but they really need to be challenging these balls earlier.
Oh my, they do, because of instances like this. If you challenge this ball earlier, then Uncle STN can't get the carry. But when you wait that long to challenge, even if you get a touch on the ball, the 50-50 odds of that going in on the goal line are just astronomical. It's no longer a 50-50. It's more like an 80-20 when it happens on the goal line. So ONU now enjoy a comfortable 2-goal cushion with 30 seconds to spare.
Uncle Stronk at this point. It's devastating, though. With only 20 seconds to go, they've already shown they can control the ball for an individual 20 seconds, and Simpson College has struggled against the lead. Do they have one more in them? This ball potentially dropped down off the crossbar twice, and they will settle just for the confusion. Ohio Northern gonna start off their season following suit with Miami University. It is a 3-0. The only thing that's left to decide is the scoreline.
Well, there you have it. It is going to be a 3-0 sweep, the third of the day. All of our games have ended in 3-0 sweeps, and ONU no exception. And at the same time, dare I say, not surprising. I was not to say anything against their opponent, just saying that ONU, as I had said in the beginning of the program, is ONUing. That's what they do.
I mean, we can go with that, Cap, but at the same point, I pointed out early on, it did seem like Simpson had an issue with where that point of challenge was, and I highlight it when I see it. The times where adjustments are made, whether it be in between games or on the fly, that problem stayed with them throughout the entire series. And I don't say this as putting a Debbie Downer on their day. No, this is one small adjustment, one minuscule change that they could make to completely alter the complexity of this series. What they looked like in the offensive zone was pretty stinking good. The issue was the point of challenge never made it outside of the defensive box. And multiple goals ended up being converted. Why? Because they weren't making it outside of the box. It was a whole lot easier to Uncle Stronk the ball into the net because that last line of defense was not defending in the air early on. That last line of defense was really defending just a few Unreal units in front of the goal line.
Well, the good news is there is still time to make the adjustments. Like you said, Simpson College, they have some things they have to work on. They can go back, they can watch the VODs, and then they can make those adjustments, especially as we get closer to the MEC Clash. Kendo, what do you got to tell us about the MEC Clash?
You know what? My understanding is we are actually going straight into an interview, and my understanding is also we are going to have Soul Taker Nation. I'm going to ask the question that is on our minds at the very least. I don't know about the crowd. This is mainly just the production crew. We know now it's Soul Taker Nation, but can we call you Uncle Stan?
Of course you can call me Uncle Stan.
Let's go!
Yay! I feel less of an idiot.
Yes!
Yeah, of course. STN is like, it's the short version of Soul Taker Nation, so yeah.
I didn't know that. My apologies. I was calling you Uncle Stan, but I guess now Okay, awesome. I feel a little bit less of an idiot now, but will always remain to be so. Regardless, I'm just gonna go ahead and just start things off. Of course, how do you feel after getting that dub? I mean, to get the 3-0 sweep, it's got to feel pretty good.
I mean, yeah, it feels great. I don't think it was the hardest opponent we'll play in this league, so we were just kind of having fun, just hanging out, having a good time. But yeah, it's definitely good to get a dub and be up 2-0.
Take me through the mindset the team has. It does seem like there's a very good team dynamic with Ohio Northern. Team plays more often than not, or maybe you're looking to solo we called you Uncle Stronk at one point with some of that goal line stuffage you were able to put on.
No, yeah, our team dynamic's great. I mean, we've been scrimming some good teams. We've played against some good opponents last semester and this semester. So, and I mean, our communication is just good. Like we know where each other are to make like the saves that we need, and barring any mistakes, we're usually pretty good. So,
love to hear it. Cap, do you have any more?
Well, really, the only thing that I have to put on there is just you had mentioned earlier that you don't think that Simpson College was going to be your most daunting opponent. So, with that being said, I have to ask you, who do you think is going to be your biggest challenge here in the MEC?
I know Cleveland State. They're in we play in another league with like a bunch of like local schools in Ohio. So they're in that league, so we're gonna play them in that league as well. So I know they're like not too bad. They're pretty decent. And then probably I think our toughest matchup will be Miami of Ohio. I think besides us, they have probably like the best roster overall.
So I just want to point out Soul Taker Nation isn't only just great at backhanding assists, backhanding goals, but also pretty good at the backhanded compliments. They're not that bad. They're all right.
They're good, you know.
They're not too bad, but no, in all fairness, though, definitely going to be looking out for the matches that you have going forward against CSU and against Miami, Ohio. Kendo, you got anything else for us?
Hey, you know what? We're always going to give you the opportunity to shout out. Anybody you want to shout out before they do another gritty behind you?
I know yesterday I shouted out my teammates carrying me, but I don't know if I have anyone to shout out tonight. Maybe our director, Troy.
Hey.
He's a great director, one of the best in the country, so.
Love it when you hear about all the people who are supporting what is going on at Ohio Northern. Well, I know this much. You have something going on at Ohio Northern, so congratulations on the win and a brilliant start to your MEC season.
Yep, thank you.
Cap, I hate it when good things come to an end, but for day number 2, week number 1 of the MEC, we're getting pretty stinking close to that.
Yep, that we are. It is just about wrapped up for the day. Week number 1, day 6 of the Midwest Esports Conference. But there is still more fun to be had in the future. Again, this is still just the start of the season. It's a sad face because it's the end of the day, but it's a smiley, happy face because it is still very early in the start of the season, Kendo. So you know what that means? That means next week, we get to come back and do it all over again.
That's right. Next week, we are going to get to come back and do it over again, but it's not going to be at the same bat time and the same bat station. Folks, next week, you're going to get to see not just live action, you're going to see in-person live action as it is the MEC Clash going on February 10th and 11th at Deerfield, the Hyatt Regency there in Deerfield. So definitely exclamation point Deerfield in the chat if you are interested in reserving your tickets. You get to meet some of the players of the MEC. You get to enter into tournaments, have fun, and see some of those live events that go on in person. See the top 5 of things empowering esports events in action. But you can only do it if you are there live for the MEC Clash. So you definitely do not want to miss that one, folks. Cap, it's been a wonderful day. I want to thank everybody who was involved in today's broadcast, those behind the scenes, our friend Grant, Alvaro, Ramsey, everyone at the Unified family who have made MEC possible. It's brilliant to see Rocket League and MEC mingled together, and this is just the start of our adventure. On behalf of myself, Captain Etsoka, and the rest of the crew, we will see you in Deerfield. Don't miss it.